Hi, I wanted to make this video today about I wanted to talk about autism, more so autism in women. This is not kind of the type of video I usually do. For starters, I don't like talking to the camera. I have really bad anxiety. I mostly do gaming on my channel anyway. It's more what I'm comfortable with is the channel is mostly going to be gaming. I may do a one-off video every now and again, but gaming is more what I'm comfortable with. And I just want to say how basically how autism affects me and maybe possibly other women. And I just say I've done quite a bit of research online over through the years. I've looked online, I've looked at stuff on YouTube, I've looked elsewhere, and I like to say I've not officially been diagnosed with autism at all. I have spoken to quite a few people before now and then, saying about yeah, maybe possibly you could do and everything, that people have dealt with people with autism before and everything. There was one woman that just pretty much just outright just asked me if I was on the spectrum. But that was more to do with the type of people she works with every day. She sees like new people every day, so she has to so yeah, she deals like different people every day with different mental illnesses, physical illnesses and all stuff. So she sees this stuff every day. But it kind of brings me to my first point being diagnosed. It is especially hard to get diagnosed with autism, especially when you're an adult, and especially, well, if you're a woman. Most of it is to do with a thing called masking, which is a thing I'll get back to in a minute. I also want to say is like people as well don't believe that women can have autism, which is I just find ridiculous, really. And there was a whole thing on TikTok a few months ago now with this girl. She was openly admitting that she had autism and the struggle she has. And it was the amount of comments she was getting are saying about, oh, you can't have autism and stuff like that. This is just an excuse for you to being a sociopath, which kind of some of this is easy to find as well on the website, online, on YouTube and stuff. It was if it's if I can find it, everybody else can find it, really. But it's the problem thing is that people don't really go looking for it, is the thing. And also, like to say, there is still a lot of research going into autism in general, not just with women, and there still needs to be a lot to be done. And I like to say as well that, well, with the research that is there now, may be correct. It may, in a few years' time, maybe just like be a small part of autism. We've got to remember as well, autism is a spectrum, which is the thing that people seem to forget a lot of the time. This is a story that I have found online and everything. Even with girls presenting clearly, they can be overlooked. Take Melissa's two children. Both have autism diagnosis, but with daughter's Lisa, symptoms were much more obvious than the son's Justin's. The girls were waived off for 3 years by various clinics. On one paper, Melissa says her symptoms to check all the boxes. Lisa had significant language delay. She didn't speak in sentences till she was 4. Did not pretend to play and had several meltdowns each day. There were also other signs, like lining up her stuffed toys and spinning around in circles constantly seeking sensory input. She was also unable to handle change in her routine. Melissa's son was also diagnosed at 6, but the first clinic something long. I'll get back into the whole long words and how I have trouble with them in a bit. Who saw him despite the fact his symptoms were less obvious. The devil. The expert who saw Lisa did not believe autism could be common in girls. He came up with excuse for her behaviour and reasons why she couldn't be on the spectrum. Melissa said at one point, we were even told that my daughter just had low self-esteem, and that's why she didn't speak. And of course, that is her issue. And of course, her issues were just parenting problems. With that, we were never told these things about our son. So it's like, if a doctor can't even believe that women can all get autism, why would anybody else? And this is a lot of the problems why women don't get diagnosed with it as well. And if I go back to the other point, is as well as a thing called masking as well. Oh, so there's this paragraph here that I've picked up on a few similar ones on similar websites and everything. They're all basically saying the same thing. While both male and female with females with autism can camouflage their symptoms, it appears to be more common in women and girls. This could explain why they are less likely to be diagnosed with autism. It is important to note that studies looking at difference between autism and women and men being very small and flawed, experts still don't have any decisive information about these differences, including whether they are real or just a result of camouflaging. I just want to make this clear as well. Even though I've been researching more into like women with autism and everything, these signs can also be with men, and gender neutral people, or anybody on the gender spectrum. It's just that as it's the stereotype that I'm trying to cut through here, as women or anybody else with autism is not really represented. Whenever you think of autism as well, most people will tend to think of that little white boy that doesn't make any eye contact, can't speak, or just has like weird behavior. Which a lot of that comes down to no representation at all on like TV, YouTube as well, and everything as well. There's which is a big place now where everybody can have like representation of what they want. But especially as well as TV, most people still rely on like TV to represent a lot of things. And especially I notice as well on like Netflix and stuff, all you usually see is a little white boy who's not socially norm. That's all that's normally represented. That's why it's not really discussed as well with women. But that's a lot of the thing is well, is that even if when they are represented, autism is represented on TV, they like to point out that it is the only thing about their personality. They don't like to say, oh yeah, they're autistic. That's like the main thing. They don't always go on about, oh yeah, they can fit into like normal society and people accept them who they are. They just have to. It has to be like over numerous years and over episodes and stuff like that. It just can't be, oh yeah, they have autism. Yeah, that's it. It has to be a big deal. Which it shouldn't be a big deal, really. Everybody is different in their own way. But I also want to go through the symptoms of like camouflaging and stuff now. So, okay, let's go down to the common forms of camouflaging. It includes like forced eye contact during conversations, which I tend to try and do a lot. I do notice quite a bit sometimes I am staring off in the middle distance nowhere, and it does annoy me as well because people do actually point out as like, why aren't you looking at me and everything. That's what makes me self-conscious as well. That's what gets my anxiety up as well and stuff like that. And preparing jokes and phrases ahead of time. I do this quite a lot as well. I will have like a conversation in my head. It does make me sound nuts, and this video is not going to help that. As well, like, I think, what if I said this, how would they react, and what would I say to this, how when they react like that sort of thing. And I do have like little jokes in the prank, but That's the lot of thing as well. People don't think I have a sense of humour. I have a cracking sense of humour. I was brought up on British comedy, for Christ's sake. Um, I watched all like bloody Ollie Falls and Horses and everything. I know, I know quite a bit about comedy and everything. But the thing is, the way I see it as like a structure sort of thing. If I do this and everything, unless I should get that and that, which doesn't always work. Comedy changes over time, and so does a lot of social norms. And mimicking social behavior and others, and like imitating expressions and gestures, which yes, I do sort of do. I sort of think, oh, how do they comes back to like how people react to stuff and everything. I kind of say sort of see, oh, they react like this, maybe I should react like this if I get like a question like that, which is not always a good thing to do, because you don't know if that person is also having trouble with their social at all, whether they have really bad anxiety or if they got something underlying problems at all. It's really not a good thing to be doing, but it's and there's this one that spoke to me a bit as well. Given that women tend to be better at masking symptoms, being a woman with autism can feel particularly isolating for many women in a emotional progress involving revisiting childhood behaviours and social problems. I can relate to this spell. I do think about a lot of my childhood, a lot about a lot of red flags, should we say, that nobody really took notice of. Like the whole thing with Lisa before. I didn't really speak in full sentences till I was like 3-4 years old, and I did go and see a few people about that, and nothing came out of it really. I'm still not a very chatty person and everything. I am on Twitter and Instagram and everything, because just trying to be a bit more social. It's alright. I do still struggle every now and again. I don't really have our IRL friends, so I don't really have that many friends in real life either, really. I have a couple that I rely on quite a lot, that are understanding to what I'm like. I mean, it's not like a big deal really about me not having that many friends really. I'm quite an independent person really. I like doing my own things. People tend to think I am disinterested though. I am working. I have worked with people before that do say that I have been like rude when I didn't mean to be. Other symptoms as well I've stumbled upon, again, this is not 100% just for women. This is more just to shine a light of, just to say that women do have autism as well, but it doesn't really, they don't really advertise it as well. It's just a lot to do. Still a lot to doors to break through. And it's the inability to look and listen to people, which I've touched on this. I do tend to stare in the middle distance quite a lot. Not responding to their name, which yeah, I have done a couple of times, because because as well, if I've like misheard and I was like, did they say my name? I'm not entirely sure. I'd rather not respond than respond at all and get like have like a wrong response, because then that affects my anxiety. I was like, oh, I wasn't meant to react like that. Resisting to touching. Again, I'm not really a touchy person. I'm not really an affectionate person. I don't really hug my friends at all that often or anything, or my family. I don't really give kisses on the cheeks and everything, which I can be very affectionate in relationships, but it's not a thing I do in public, and it does take me to a while to get that point. And for prefers being alone, which yeah, kind of 50-50. I do like socializing every now and again. I did used to work in a pub, so I'd say socializing was not as sometimes an issue with me. If I get a few drinks with me, it's I can socialize for days, or I just shitpost on Twitter. I've done that a few times before. But again, it's bringing up again. It is a spectrum, depending on how you were brought up as well, and where you are on the spectrum, it will affect you in sort of different ways. Inappropriate and face or no facial gestures. And again, I do have a very expressive face every now and again. When I am trying to listen, sometimes I do get like very serious face and everything when I'm getting told off, because I am trying mainly not to cry, basically, because that's more my anxiety creeping up. And I have been accused before of lying, because I don't react a certain way with gestures and stuff, which that an inability to start conversations or keep one going. I do tend to rely on other people for conversations. I am really not good at starting conversations at all. There's a lot of things associated with autism as well, where they have like particular subjects that they like and everything they could talk about for hours, and then you get something that they don't know about. They won't say anything. Which is true. I will talk about hours about gaming, music, and YouTube and stuff, which are like my common interests, and like drawing and stuff. And also when like people are talking about autism, I will tend to talk about what I know and everything. So yeah, I can't really start a conversation with a stranger really, and I have said before, I am online, I am on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube obviously, and Twitch. So yeah, I do like put stuff out there and everything, and when it comes to like responses, I will just like upvote it if I'm on Reddit, thumbs up, or depending on what I'm on, because it doesn't mean that I'm not interested in like response to everything. I like response to everything. It just usually means that I don't know how to reply. I don't know, just thumbs up. And as well as like people think I'm disinterested when I give like short non-responsive answers as well. It doesn't really mean that. It's just I don't know how to react. If I am not interested in your fucking conversation, I pretty much will just tell you and just bugger off somewhere. Usually the fun one is phone. Yeah, phone is always good if you are disinterested in a conversation. Fake a phone call, fake a tense, disappear off. But if I'm giving short answers, it doesn't mean I'm not interested. It just means that I am not really noticeable, and I prefer listening to other people talk anyway. More social differences and trouble interacting. I've gone over this before. I do tend to have trouble interacting with people. Ability to adapt. I do just struggle to change my routine quite a lot. I do try and push myself every now and again. Just like with this video, I'm just trying to push myself just a little bit out of my routine. It's not something that I'm 100% comfortable with. I do change it because in the end, it's good for your mental health. You don't really want to be getting stuck into that mental rut. Less tendency to become hyper focus on subjects and all our activities. Again, I do get focused on quite a lot of stuff. Again, this might be different for other people. Some people might not be able to concentrate on something. Some people can concentrate on so freaking focused on one thing that they don't take notice or anything else. More emotional problems. This is a thing that again, this was like a red flag when I was a teenager. I get most of the chat that I do get like a bad anxiety. I do get upset quite a lot over a lot of things, over stupid things. But it was the teenage years. I had no control, emotional control over anything, and I occasionally, especially when I was little, I would scream, and I didn't know how to react to stuff. And it's coming to point number 5 and 6. Well, more conversation and language problems. Again, it comes down to like talking with people again, and the mental people are talking to me as well. I don't always quite click of what's going on sometimes. More problems behavior such as acting out aggressive, becoming aggressive. Again, that goes down to more like when I was a teenager, when I was younger. I had trouble sort of communicating things because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I'm trying not to swear. We'll let that one slide. And I've got these fairly long points, but I'm trying to go through fairly quickly because this video is going to drag on a bit. These are ones I found in like a different article. Autistic women tend to be more aware and need to socialize. Again, I've touched on this before. I do have the tendency, I do like socializing. I am socially aware of what I say and what I do, it doesn't always come across how I want it to. Again, this like comes into this this is where autistic women tend to use their words carefully rather than making meaningless comments. Of autistic girls will use their words with purpose and will not make small talk into comment. Yeah, basically when you don't use small talk. I'm not really good at small talk. It's depending who I'm with and who I come to with, I can have little chats with, but occasionally they'll be like, it won't always be chatty all the time. But it's something I'm used to with, people I know that are used to it as well. So it's not really that big of an issue for when it comes to like people I know time. Autistic women often create an fantasy world, much like autistic boys will develop a strong specific interest. An autistic girl may develop vivid imaginations, worlds that take great joy in escaping into fiction. That's the thing as well. A lot of people think everything is like literal and everything and we don't have like an and nobody has like an imagination, or anybody autists have an imagination. Sometimes they have like an overfooded imagination. I'm quite an arty person anyway. I do a lot of drawings and everything. I'm quite rusty. I haven't drawn for a while. I do use like my imagination and everything. I imagine like doing this and all that, and I try and put that all like creative outlet into like some of the games I play, because I play like a lot of Animal Crossing. I play a lot of Sims. And autistic women may have trouble understanding status. It's common for autistic women to misunderstanding the social hierarchies and being unaware of how to communicate with people in different status. This can also become cause girls to become anxious and hostile if they don't understand why fellow peers are more popular than others. I don't give a shit about popularity. Popularity is not my thing. I do wonder why sometimes I say something some way and it's being like popular and stuff like that. I do have trouble understanding stuff sometimes, which is frustrating. It's like when they say something one way and everything, especially when it's online, because you don't really have any context online. Autistic females are more likely to experience higher rate of depression and anxiety. Yeah, I've had like depressive spells. I have mentioned quite a few times in this video about my anxiety, and it can be quite bad, especially when I'm trying to push myself into doing something new. Autistic females often have fewer friends. I've touched on this before. I had a group of little friends when I was teenager. When I was a little, I haven't really made any friends outside school really. I have like one or two friends that I speak to quite a bit, which I made did make outside school, but they were through work and other people. Autistic women find teenage life particularly stressful. I really touched on this as well. For teenage days, I had no control over my emotions or anything. I did scream quite a bit when I was younger and everything, so I didn't know what to do, and I didn't really have much guidance really. School was not really a help at all, to be honest. I also want to like list a couple of things that I personally have trouble with as well. Which could do to be autism as well, because again, there's still a lot of research going into it. I struggle with speaking quite a lot, and that's the thing where I'm probably to do with more anxiety as well. But I find speaking for a long time, I tend to stutter because I'm just trying to overthink things, and I'm trying to think for a certain way and stuff like this as well, because when I'm thinking of something and it tends to come out a bit, and Yeah. I've also always struggled with spelling and writing as well. I hate the fact that I struggle with spelling and writing. I can also I'm dyslexic, which again something that wasn't really noticed upon until later on in life, till I was about 16. But when it comes to like spelling as well, and like pronouns and that pronouns as well, as like using like the right there and everything, I have to think about it for a second. I was like, they are going to the pub. I was like, oh, that's that there then. I was like, if it's theirs, it's their thing, and everything. It's like spelling with like which as well. English is like a terrible language to learn, and also as well, sometimes I just do it on purpose as well. Just leave it spelt wrong and put the wrong there on purpose, because some people just get really easily wound up by it, especially online. You could have like a well-rounded conversation, and then you put an apostrophe in the wrong place and everything, and they just all kick off. My handwriting is terrible. This is the whole thing about the writing as well, because people because I've got scruffy writing as well, and I do have trouble speaking. Sometimes people tend to think that I'm not that smart, really, which is, you shouldn't assume anything of people, especially people that you barely talk to and don't really know. I did actually look up about scruffy handwriting and everything. Scruffy handwriting, this is a sign of intelligence, apparently. Yeah, don't trust a doctor with neat handwriting. The thing is, I assume I don't. I'm not that intelligent, but I was good at maths and science at school. Again, there's another red flag that nobody took notice of. I was like, well, I'm really good at these subjects, but English, down here, maths, science, up here. They didn't take notice of that. And again, with like adult life, I've had like jobs and everything. I am trained to run a shop semi. Really, I can cash up. I can close up a shop and stuff, and I basically love that. And I am fairly good at puzzle solving and problem solving and stuff like that. I'm pretty good at puzzles and stuff. Despite the fact that I am stubborn, especially when it comes to gaming, I am quite stubborn, and I always think of like one way and everything. If I actually get in my head and actually sit back for 5 minutes, I can sort of think, oh, I can do this way instead, or I'll come at a different angle, which I don't always. It takes me a while to rely on that. So it's basically all I wanted to talk about today. So how I struggle with it, and if anybody has any questions, just let me know. I am on Twitter. You can get from Twitter, from YouTube, Instagram as well. I've mentioned before. I'm also on Twitch. You can come and join me and just chat in the Twitch chat. I may not always be responsive, but I do freaking try as well, because I do have like trouble of getting things crossing words through words as well, because back to like the whole writing thing and everything, the same about scruffy handwriting is they said something about when the words are going faster in your head, then you can write them down. That's a lot of reasons why. That's a lot of reason why handwriting is subscribing. I do have the tendency that words going like so fast in my head, and then I can't. Then I can't say them sometimes, which is I hate that. I mean, there are places online that you can look into, um, for if you do think you have autism, someone you know has autism in your family. This is basically how I was struggling with it. Again, not visually, not really diagnosed yet. It's a bit of a struggle to get diagnosed, especially now at the moment with everything going on. Doctors don't really want to tell you, don't want you to turn up. It's like, oh yes, I might have autism. Not a really good time. And then sort of, I'm in the UK as well, so we do have slightly more sort of help towards the UK. I don't know how it is in other countries, but other countries can be a bit when it comes to like mental health and stuff, and mental disabilities and other disabilities and stuff like any of that. Other countries can be a bit meh. But there is always, so if you are struggling with some stuff, there is always somewhere out there that is struggling in some sort of similar way. This is the kind of stuff I like about YouTube and online and everything, because you gotta take the good and the bad when it comes to online stuff. There is always somebody not always having the exact same problems with you, but always someone similar out there. It's whether if they are actually able to be like there to say, oh yes, this happens to me, this can be somewhere else and something else. There is just one thing I do want to touch on before I finish the video. I want to leave the one last thing here. It was this screenshot that I grabbed of when I was looking how to diagnose autism on YouTube, and there's a lot of troubling things here. One of them I don't understand, to be honest. I'm just gonna go with this top one here, to be honest now. Everyone is their own normal. Everyone has their own opinions and how they see the world, and if people can't accept the way that you are, find the ones that do.